The sun sets on Greyview, and for the first time in a few days, the rain relents just a little. A low mist rolls through the town as the cold starts to set in. Your clothes wet through as they normally are. You are quite used to this. And I'm going to ask you both to make me a stealth check as you approach Anya's homestead and try not to be seen doing so.
I've got an 18 plus 2, which puts me back on my favourite friend, 20.
A dirty 20, I love it.
This is so bad. I'm a 5.
Killian confidently goes to stride out of this side street towards the sort of front door of Anya's house, and returning the favour from earlier, Solus, you at the last minute managed to grab hold of the sort of back of Killian's collar and pull him back as 2 townsguard stroll down the street, and you manage to essentially press yourself up against the side of the wall and keep yourself encased in shadows, as they seem to be having a sort of jovial conversation. And it's not that you would have been like arrested or anything like that, but obviously they would have then seen you potentially trying to approach Anya's house at the beginning of this evening. As you sit and watch the house, actually, in fact, go ahead and roll me perception, both of you.
I've got 2 plus 5, so 7.
11.
It's pretty hard for you to ascertain whether anyone is in the house currently. There doesn't seem to be a lot of movement, but there is probably a hearth lit inside, maybe some candles. And any movement that you do see, you wonder whether perhaps it's just a flickering of light rather than someone passing. There is a doorway. It's a rather modest house. There's a doorway and a small side alley which you think would lead round to the back of the house as it's sort of semi-detached. There are some windows as well on a sort of ground level, though you think the back of the house would probably be the quieter way in, as you know that at least the guards are patrolling this street. It may be infrequent.
I think as the back of the house seems to be the quietest route, might be the best way and probably the least detectable.
Sure.
So I suggest we go round the back of the house, and I actually have a lockpick with me. It's just part of my kit that I keep on my belt. It's very important, and I'm going to try the lock with that.
Can you go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check?
Oh, certainly can. 15 plus 1, 16.
Solus, rather alarmingly, Killian makes very light work of this lock. Something that you get the sense he's probably done a few times before. Killian, you slip this small piece of metal in the lock and hit the pins. It opens, and you have access now to Anya's house. You see there is a small kind of kitchen area where there's like a basin that she probably fills with water for washing things, and there is a cooking hearth as well. It's modest, very clean. Is there anything in particular that you are looking for?
I think I'm looking for any documentation, letters, anything that's going to give me information. So I think a good place to start is her desk, which we see over in the corner.
Sure.
And there's a desk there, and it's strewn with some papers, but it's not easy to see unless we go over. So we head over, and I start to ruffle through them.
Roll me an investigation check.
9 plus 5, so 14.
With a 14, you see, as you approach, these letters which appeared almost casually thrown at first, you notice are now, as you get closer, actually very specifically placed in orders and seem to be referencing certain things. And as you're kind of flicking through, you don't see anything unusual. She has a lot of information on trade routes, on trying to, and there's a lots of thoughts and sort of things that she's written in the margins about trying to increase efficiency, essentially, of trade. You see, actually, Killian, she references how she, there's a note on there that she feels that World's End has been cut off for far too long. And you see that there are plans and sort of ideas and things that she's sketched in place which refer to like new kind of roadways being like built specifically to connect World's End to, which is the area that Blackrest sits in, to like the rest of the island more thoroughly, meaning it could get kind of better trade and things like that, which is probably a little bit surprising to see. And Solus, I think as you're scanning around, it's actually you that take half a step back, and the noise from the floorboard is just ever so slightly different to the rest. There's something slightly hollow under your foot.
So I gently try the floorboard.
And it gives.
I lift it up, and as delicately as I can, I attract Killian's attention.
Mm-hmm.
So he sees what I'm doing. And I lift it up.
You stare inside, and there is this is a mess. There is a mess of papers and items. You see that there is a runestone, like a family runestone, which is not hers. This family runestone belongs to Councilman Nova that you spoke to yesterday. And you probably recognize it, having seen it so recently. And then as you start to look through these papers, you see plans for a new Greyview, or what is being referred to as New Greyview. These plans seem to detail an idea to create a new, more defensible crossing and essentially turn Greyview into a military outpost. She seems to suggest that in these letters that she thinks that it is irresponsible to have homesteads so close to the forest, and that with an increased military presence in Greyview, it would allow, and I think this is very interesting for you, Killian, for further incursions into the forest. Also says that she plans to take this sort of new crossing, but to make Kielimaya the new kind of epicenter of the island, essentially. This is infinitely more radical than you could have ever dreamed of. This might even be more radical than the plans you had, Killian. This is very, very big. And something that you know for a fact the council would not like.
So this sort of probably quite violent reorganization of the whole island.
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
But definitely a change of tact in quite a big way.
I put them down and I replace the floorboard, and I look at you and I say, we need to leave.
Give me that. I need to look through it more. I take the documents from Solus. Almost heavy breathing, getting out of control almost. Just like I start writing things down. My mind is whirring. My head is spinning.
As this happens, the front door creaks open and you hear footsteps.
We need to leave.
You do not hear Anya's voice, however. You hear maybe a voice that you haven't heard before. It is a kind of low, hushed voice. Anya? Anya? Good. You haven't seen this individual. You are sort of round the corner. They have not seen you. What would you like to do?
I think what I want to do is apprehend this person, just to incapacitate, but not harm, but incapacitate so they can't harm us.
You can certainly try.
I pick up a small what would I pick up? Some kind of item in the room that's small and like light.
You have the Nova family runestone, which is kind of like a little, not like a pebble, but like kind of like a pebble with an engraving.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. So I have that, and I gently throw it to the other side of the room.
Wonderful. Yeah, just go ahead and make me a sleight of hand roll.
8 + 1.
You throw it to the other side of the room, and you hear those footsteps immediately stop. Hello? Anya? Anya? Sorry, I've just come to drop something off from the council. I didn't mean to interrupt. This individual doesn't seem to want to go any closer to the room. They have stopped in the hallway.
At this point, because they say they're from the council, I change my tact and I don't want to apprehend them anymore. So I gesture to Solus that we calm and we wait. And
there is a secondary, so as you came in sort of through that back door, there is a secondary room off to the left, which you're like quite close to that door if you want to just sort of stay in the house but hidden.
I think we go and hide.
Okay. Both of you make me stealth rolls, please.
13.
7.
Killian, it's not dissimilar to earlier. You have just arrived back from the mountain, having buried your brother. You find yourself summoned by the steward. You are suddenly thrust into this kind of strange conversation with Solus, a man that you'd met only a few times previously. Someone's trying to kill you. There is this whole kind of conspiracy, which I think kind of goes so far outside of like the realms that you normally consider. And I think that you duck inside this room very quietly, both of you, leaving it just the sort of door just open a crack so that you can see back into the other room, but you are completely veiled in shadow. As you see a small halfling enter the room, maybe 4'5". They wear a thick traveler's cloak. They have a jet black hair that's kind of tied back in like almost like a warrior's knot. And they kind of look around, they're out of breath as they kind of relax. And you watch as they take out a small, bloodied dagger. They walk over, they know exactly where they're going. They lift that floorboard, they shuffle around some papers, and they place the bloodied dagger underneath some of the things that are in that floorboard and sort of tuck it round the side. And as they go to replace the floorboard and they go to put it back down, Killian, your instinct as you see the dagger drawn, you take just a half a step back and you hear a floorboard under your foot. As this individual, their head snaps up and looks at the doorway.
Do they see us?
Doesn't look like they've seen you, but they know someone's in that room. And you see that he's reaching sort of for something underneath his cloak.
Immediately, my instinct is to reach for my bow, which I do. I draw it. But I don't aim to kill. I aim for the halfling's foot so that I can pin him to the floor.
Okay. So, I'm going to need all three of you to roll me initiative, please.
So I've got 4 plus 2, so only 6.
7.
So, you get an arrow notched, you draw it back, and in the moment, in the fraction that your bow makes the tiniest creak, this individual looses from underneath their cloak a dagger through the doorway. This is going to come at you, Killian, as you're kind of stood, essentially pointing an arrow in that direction. A dagger comes flying towards you and grazes up your arm, and you take 4 points of slashing damage. Okay. Whoever it is, we can talk about this. I apologize. You startled me. And is sort of raising their hands as if to suggest they don't want to engage. Killian, it's your turn. Do you loose the arrow?
No. I want to communicate to Solus that I think we could take this person.
We can take him.
We can take it, but like we need the information, and we this is like the best lead we have.
Okay, Killian, I'm gonna ask you then to roll me a persuasion check. And this is essentially how well you are able to communicate this to Solus without sort of speaking, out loud.
20!
No way! No way!
That's my first 20 and I needed it so bad!
With a natural 20, Solus, you immediately understand exactly what's going through Killian's mind. And I do think you absolutely notice as well that Killian has done probably better than you would have assumed in staying his hand. Mm-hmm. Even after getting attacked, he hasn't loosed or attacked yet. My question is, are you going to you can do a thing where you hold your action, which is essentially to say, like, you can kind of give your action like a trigger. You sort of say out loud, like, oh, if he approaches me in some way, or if Solus gives me the nod or whatever, I will attack. So you can do that if you want, and then we'll move on to Solus's turn and see how he responds to what you've just done.
So yeah, wait, and if he comes to attack us at any given point, I will loose the arrow, and I want to pin him. I don't want to actually kill him.
Yep. Solus, it's your turn.
So where I'm positioned, in terms of I'm closer to the door and crouched. So if this person has any sense of anyone in the room and the direction in which they've sent the dagger, they don't know there's two of us, and they don't know that I'm closer. What I want to do is get him physically into a position where he is overwhelmed, but not harmed, and where we have both have the control and the upper hand, but he's not injured anymore, but we can keep him quiet. So essentially that means me physically holding him to the ground and covering his mouth.
He's 4'5", so we're two 6 foot guys. I think we can apprehend.
I'm going to assume this to mean that you're going to sort of do the same, sort of hold an action, essentially wait for him to be in the right distance for you to then essentially attempt to make that, to take that action.
So that's not possible now?
You could rush out, essentially, if you wanted to, try to overwhelm him.
Let's give it a beat and let him take the next move, but that is the intention. If
Right.
I've understood the geography of the room correctly,
Yeah.
that is, you're obviously in a stood position, I'm assuming, it's sort of further back if you've loosed a bow. So we have the benefit of me being closer and not as detectable because he doesn't know there's two of us.
Yeah, I feel like I'm direct line of sight with him, but it's very dark in this room, so I'm probably a very, very...
I think you're probably backlit from another, a window behind you, so that he couldn't sort of make out who you were at this point.
And then you're next to the door, behind the door.
Yeah. So we let him take the initiative for now.
But we have a plan based on what he's going to do.
I'm going to assume that you're not Anya. So, whatever this is, we might well be on the same side. I'm just going to leave. Okay?
No, you're bloody not. And I shoot the bow.
What are you doing? Wonderful. Okay, both of you, your held actions going off at the same time. So here's what I'm going to ask for. I need from you, Killian, a longbow attack, because essentially what you've done is a called shot. This is this is a bit of a homebrew mechanic on my part. You're trying to attempt something a little bit more precise than just causing harm.
Yeah.
So he's going to get a bonus to his armor class. And then I'm going to say for you, Solus, I'm going to give you advantage on a athletics check as you essentially burst around the corner and try to apprehend him, but he's very surprised, not realizing there was two people in there, and so you are going to have the upper hand essentially in trying to tackle him to the ground and cover his mouth.
I've got a 19 and a 2, so we'll put the 2 back in jail, correct?
Yeah, sure.
By my friend, never to be seen again.
Yep.
And then obviously it's +1, so it's a 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dirty 20. Nothing but 20s for
Absolutely.
Solus today.
20 or bust.
Wonderful. What about you?
11.
+5 for a 16. As this arrow looses, Solus, you move round the corner with, I think for you, Killian, quite a surprising speed for essentially what you believe to be a pretty sort of, learned, gentle man. He whips round this corner, almost following your arrow out, this halfling screams as the arrow plants into their foot, and they already start kind of reeling backwards a little bit as Solus jumps on them, one hand on the chest, one hand covering their mouth, and pins them down to the ground. We are going to be out of combat as you have them apprehended, and you see that he's sort of generally stopped kind of resisting. He's just got his hands flat to the ground, looks pretty surprised, and knows that he's, very well outnumbered here. I don't want to die.
What are you doing here?
Can you take your hand away, or?
I do.
I can ask you both the same question.
Well, we're asking the questions. What are you doing here?
Just came to drop something off for Anya.
What was it?
You can look for yourself if you want.
I reach into the floorboard and I pick out the dagger, covered in blood. Why is this here? Why is it covered in blood?
It's Anya's. She lent it to me.
You're gonna have to start talking faster.
She gave it to me to take care of something, to take care of someone, and I was just coming to return it.
A councilwoman has instructed a halfling to kill someone in the dead of night with a dagger.
She's not. She's not a councilwoman yet, and yes, you want me to be. You wanted me to be honest, no?
Who was it?
Who was what?
Who did you kill?
You see his eyes kind of flick to Solus, and go ahead, Solus. Roll me an insight check.
It's 19 plus 5, so 24, so you better start talking.
This man is desperately lying through his teeth. He is floundering for answers, and I think that it is in the moment that Killian says, "Who did you kill?" he struggles to come up with a name. And I think the reason he struggles to come up with a name is something, though you do not know what, but something to do with you, Solus. He seems unsettled to see you here.
I release my grip. I sit him up, but I'm still holding him. So I have control of him, but I'm not physically so intimidating. And I say to him, "Speak."
I've spoken.
And then I increase my grip. And I say again, "Speak."
I can't say it till...
I slam him on the ground and I put my hand on his throat and I say for the last time, "Speak."
Are you going to kill me? They'll just kill me anyway. If I tell you, they'll just kill me anyway. Fine. The dagger's not Anya's. It's mine. I was just told to plant it here. It's an insurance policy. In case she is selected and she doesn't do as they want. Solus, I think that this dagger was meant to frame her for your death. I don't know how or why. I was just told to come and take this and place it here, but there was a rumor circulating that you'd been entered into the reckoning. And so I think that someone intends to kill you this evening. Not me. I was just told to place the evidence here.
Who told you?
Stellan, the young councilman. He's more powerful than you realize. He has a far-reaching network. If you tell him how you know, I'm a dead man, so you may as well kill me now. But I say this not because I have to, but out of a courtesy to you, Solus, as I bear you no ill will. I would get home as soon as you can.
If I can, I will protect you. If I can.
Look, I I don't agree with them.
I push him back to the ground. I look to Killian.
I'm just doing this because I have to. You don't know what they're capable of, Solus. I think they're sending someone tonight for you. I'm sorry. I didn't want this. Just fell in with the wrong people.
I look to Killian and I say, we need to leave.
I reach down and I take the arrow out of the halfling's foot.
Oh, God.
Not a word to anybody that we were here. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Because whatever fate you have in the hands of Stellan, we're 10,000 times worse in mine.
Okay.
Do you understand me?
I understand.
Sorry about the foot.
It's okay. I'll clean up the blood and Solus, if you are true and you will help me, you have an ally in me. I promise. I will not breathe a word of this to anyone. And if I can help you, I will. I do not care for this. For these people, they are deranged.
As I said, if I can protect you, I will.
I will not breathe a word of this. Can we leave? And you see he looks genuinely terrified. Can we leave the dagger? I don't want them to find out that I failed in my journey, in my mission. That, or at least you take it. I don't want anything to do with it.
I look to Solus and I nod. I think it's a good idea to leave it. For now.
We leave it, and we leave. Now.
You leave this quivering halfling in Anya's homestead as you take leave. With the words, Solus, now reverberating around your head louder and more clearly than anything you have heard for months. For you to get home. Because someone might be coming for you. Solus, you have just received this rather grim warning from this rather shaken and nervous halfling. Where would you like to go, knowing that Killian is almost certainly in tow behind?
I think we should head home.
Are you just moving as quickly and as efficiently as possible, not taking kind of any heed of who might see you, or are you sort of still trying to move with an air of stealth?
I'm 95% speed because I'm worried about the girls and Astrid, and I'm 5% stealth because I'm aware that if someone might have been, which is the impetus for the speed, but also someone might be on their way, but mostly it's speed.
Okay, in which case I'm going to ask you, Solus, to roll me a survival check as you kind of map your way most efficiently through this corridor of interconnected houses and streets as you try and make your way home as quickly as possible.
If ever I needed a natural 20, it's now. A dirty 20, I'll take it.
So with a dirty 20 on your survival check, Solus, you begin moving through Greyview. There aren't many people to get in your way, though there are still some preparations happening, and you can see that some areas of the town are now being closed off. They're putting up these big tarps and sort of boards essentially to stop people from peering in and seeing what this year's trials may be, as it's definitely seen as bad luck, especially for those contending, to have an understanding of what the trials are. But fortunately for you, they do not get in your way or slow your progress down at all. You make your way through Greyview proper, past the toll bridge, and into the slums. As you make your way closer to your home, you look up into the window of your homestead, and there, silhouetted by candlelight, is your two girls playing. Seemingly Astrid has failed to get them down to sleep at an appropriate time. But nothing else seems untoward from the outside.
Do you want me to stay close by?
Stay here. I'll be back.
Where are you going?
I'll be back. And I go inside.
You go in, and Astrid is sat there drinking some of your nicer whiskey. Sorry, Sola, I wasn't expecting you to be back yet. Is everything okay? You look... Well, you always look worried, but...
I'm fine.
Well, you've seen a ghost.
I'm just going to run upstairs.
Of course. You make your way upstairs, and you can hear the girls laughing and playing on the bed. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
16 plus 3, so 19.
Everything seems perfectly normal. Absolutely fine. And you notice that your bedroom door is slightly ajar. And you are a particular man. And you would certainly have closed it. And Astrid knows that you would like your room closed to not encourage the girls, at least, to go in there. It could have just been them, but it does draw your attention that door is open.
First, I go in and check 100% that they are fine.
With the 19 that you just got, Juno sort of shouts over to you and says, "So we are playing a game and we were having a discussion. Okay, Dad, that we didn't know who could run faster, you or the nobody man. The one that's outside currently staring at us through the window. He just stepped in a puddle. He's now upset because his boot's all wet."
The nobody man is also a very funny man, and he's a friend of ours. And if you go straight to bed tonight, you both fall asleep in the next 10 minutes, we can have a play tomorrow with the nobody man, and he can show you some of his funny tricks. But
Yes. Yeah.
you have to be asleep in the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I want you two to snuggle down, and I'm going to come back 9 minutes, and I'm going to make sure you're both on your way.
Okay.
You do that for me?
Yeah.
Right, both jump in. And you, Ren.
She's currently hiding under the bed. Fine. I didn't even think you saw me. Gets up, gets into the bed, and Ren sort of tugs on your shirt. Are there other nobody men?
Why'd you ask that?
Well, I feel like sometimes I see people but they're not like people, they're just like shadows.
When was the last time you saw one of the shadows?
I thought I saw one earlier.
Where did you see it?
In your room, I think.
Both of you into bed.
I think Daddy's faster than nobody man.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Yes.
Now in you get. And I leave. And I go straight to my room.
How do you approach?
With extreme caution, I nudge the door ajar. And I don't see anything untoward. And so I enter with great care. Do I have any weapons on me?
You have your stuff, and I think you probably know that you have a dagger in the bedside, like in a bedside drawer.
Okay, so that's where I'm heading. There's no sign of anything in the room that I can see.
Roll me a perception check.
It's a natural 20.
You are...
And we'll throw in an extra 5. So that's a 25. So I've just found the meaning of life and the game's over.
I want to clarify for everyone listening at home, they are level 2. He's just rolled a 25.
I cannot even...
Solus, you creep into the room and you find that focus returning. That slightly terrifying single-mindedness that you have spent years and years trying to control. But as you feel like your back is up against a wall, it descends. And the thought crosses your mind that if anything moves or stirs in this room, you will kill it. And you might even enjoy it. You glide across the threshold towards the bedroom, towards that bedside table where you know the dagger sits. You open it, reach down, grab the knife, and something moves behind you. And with a natural 20, for a total of 25, you know that the thing moving behind you is not human. It is that shadow once again. It looms behind you. It is hungry, Solus. And it wants to feast on your pain. What do you do?
I need to remove the threat. By any means possible.
As you turn around, I'm going to ask for our first saving throw of the campaign. Now, a saving throw is just a d20 roll, but this is when something tries to affect you, rather than you affecting something else. And so I'm going to need a wisdom saving throw.
18.
As you turn around, you see a man's face staring back at you. The rest of his body appears like shadow, but his face is unmistakable. It is like yours, older, more weathered, and with a tattoo upon his forehead. A tattoo of your true family rune. His cold eyes look upon you, Solus. And a broad grin stretches across his face. You feel for a second like you might freeze in place, unable to move. But you manage to shake off that feeling. You have the dagger in your hand, and unlike the shadows previously, these shadows don't seem to be disappearing. What does Solus do?
I need to determine whether I can do anything with my bare hands. I'm not sure the dagger will have any impact on this force, whatever this is. And so I need to remove it by any means possible. And if that means with my bare hands, then it means with my bare hands.
Go ahead and make me an unarmed strike.
12.
For a total of 16. What does it look like as Solus lunges forward?
I try and grab with my bare hands this thing. And I know who this thing is. But I don't know what this thing is. And it looks like a man, like a primal force, with every sinew trying to destroy what's in front of it.
You begin clawing, tearing, punching at this entity. Your hands feel like they connect. You feel like you are doing something, but the face just keeps smiling at you. Until eventually, you hear,
"You are not safe here, Solus. You will never be safe until you find me and we bury this. You cannot run. You cannot hide. And if you continue to do so, Solus, I will make sure you are reminded of who you are."
there's a blink as you look down and see a chair in the corner of your room. You have ripped it to pieces, your hands covered in your own blood as splinters and shards of wood stick out of them.
You will never be safe
the words of the fair weather devil ringing around your skull. You cannot hide. And Astrid comes to the door. My God, Solus. What is it? Are you okay? What's happened?
Fetch me the bandages.
Yes, of course. Solus, who did this? Are we safe?
We're safe. For now.
Okay. There's a man stood outside. The one that was here earlier. Should I be worried or?
Fetch the bandages and let him inside.
Understood. And Astrid leaves. How does Solus feel right now?
He feels everything and nothing. He feels an inferno of rage. And like an old wound has been ripped open. Almost like he's got unseamed. Right down his belly. His insides have been ripped out. And at the same time, he feels completely numb. And like he can't feel a single thing.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Oaths and Empires. Oaths and Empires is a 12-sided studios production, and I have been your Dungeon Master, Jasper William Cartwright. Solus was played by Tom McKay, and Killian was played by Luke Dale. This episode was edited and sound designed by Oliver Moore, with original music from Cy Rutherford. Our art director on Oaths and Empires is Kyle Crompton, and other artwork by Alice Torkar and Tank Monster Nova. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to rate and review us on whatever podcasting app you're using. You can also follow us on all social media platforms at Oaths and Empires. And stick around as I thank our angels over on the Patreon, without whom the show simply wouldn't be here. So, thank you so much to the following angels. Aeon Coney, Tove L. Gileath, Spike Lee, Erin, Elizabeth, Noah Alice, Sarah, Quest Disaster, Nell P, in brackets, mostly 10, 1 Glambring, Havin_hoops, Saf Z, asterisk, Bo Draconman Avrier, Dice_cult, Melanie Gehrman, Sneaky Gina, Carlos Samak Hernandez, Tazadactyl, Polar Pandy, Fadburger, Vera Patrina, Lisa Waite, Heinkappy, Fanny, Fakvarl, Alexis, Himboology, Fountain 1403, Ian Hamlet, Camille A, Wintergarten, Serena of Scallots, Shark Spren, Striped Sentry, Dog of the Lord of Ratty, Lena Beans, Cinny Crab, Jesse Keita, Koo and C, Josh Dominic, Lissy Nilsson, Boolean, DT, Eos, Eric, Sarah Phillips, Christian Ream, Celeste Nicole, The Druid Narix, Imperator.exe, Dylan Henderson, Matt Summermaid, Clavia, Vampire_unicorn, Zari Lambert, Fran, Punard, Chris B, Protato, and Wild Lupine. Thank you so much to all you incredible angels. Your support means the world, and it's going a long way to helping us keep this show going, and making sure that everyone involved is fairly compensated for their incredible work. So, thank you so much. Please continue to support the show if you can, and, crucially, if I have mispronounced your name at any point, let me know, and I will make sure to re-record it. Thank you very much.